Throughout his political career, Donald Trump has tried to cast himself as some sort of anti-establishment populist outsider, but this weekend he held a fundraiser with a bunch of rich Wall Street donors where he promised to cut their taxes. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. When he first launched his campaign in 2015, one of Trump's big talking points was that he was unlike other politicians because he could use his own money to fund his campaign, so he would never owe anyone else any favors.
Here's the good news. I'm very rich. I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money. I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care. I don't want their money. I don't need their money. I'm turning down millions of dollars for the campaign. Millions. Everybody's offering me money, and I don't want it. So I'm turning down millions of dollars.
I'm sure I've said this before, but really rich guys don't walk around telling people they're really rich. They say things like, look, Seth, you're not good in sketches. Also, there's no way Donald Trump has ever turned down millions of dollars in his life. If you tied a $5 bill to a Roomba and let it loose in Mar-a-Lago, it would keep him preoccupied for the rest of his life. Also, he'd get stuck in a corner. Of course, even back then, it was obvious that Trump's act was all bullshit. He was a billionaire serving the interest of billionaires who had spent decades immersed in the grimy backrooms of Wall Street and Washington politics. Sadly, the only people who were willing to say that back in 2016 were far-left, woke America haters like this guy.
Donald Trump is not an outsider. He is pretending to be an outsider. Donald Trump has been supporting the Washington establishment, the Washington corruption, for 4 decades. So to all the folks at home who are Donald Trump supporters, who are furious with Washington, I get that. But Donald has been funding and supporting everything you're furious about. Donald is going to cut a deal that favors Wall Street and big business and leaves the working man out in the cold.
Whoa, I don't have my glasses on. Is that Chris Hayes or Rachel Maddow? Ted Cruz looked so much younger when his conscience was clean. The second he endorsed Donald Trump, he aged like the picture of Dorian Gray. The point is, Donald Trump is a creature of the establishment and always has been. He's a billionaire serving the interests of other billionaires. After he won in 2016, one of the first things he did as president-elect was make a surprise appearance at a fancy Manhattan restaurant where he promised the wealthy patrons he would cut their taxes.
President-elect Donald Trump, seen here alongside his family at his gilded apartment in Trump Tower last night, ditched the press to head to the opulent 21 Club restaurant in Midtown Manhattan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good meal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. President-elect.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll get your taxes down. No,
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, look at that down and dirty populist out there shaking hands with the common clay of America, people who eat $100 steaks on a weeknight with cufflinks on. The only way Trump could have been any happier is if you went table to table and took a bite of everyone's meal. We'll get your taxes down, hopefully to as low as 5%, which incidentally is the same amount of your cheeseburger I'm now going to eat. Trump's anti-establishment shtick was a scam back then. It's even more of a scam now. Over the weekend, Trump rubbed elbows with some of the richest people in the country at a Palm Beach fundraiser where he took in $50 million of that money he claimed he would never accept.
Billionaires flocked to Florida last night for a glitzy fundraiser to bolster Trump's campaign coffers. Donors were invited to give upwards of $824,600 per person. Trump's campaign said it raised a whopping $50.5 million last night alone. Now, no reporters were allowed, and Trump didn't take any questions, but he did address the media before heading in.
People are just wanting change. Rich people want it, poor people want it. Everybody wants change. Our country is really doing poorly. We're a laughing stock all over the world, and we're going to get that change very quickly. And this has been some incredible evening before it even starts.
It's been an incredible evening. Just look at how thrilled Melania is to be here. I know she looks super bummed, but trust me, that's her in a good mood. What's a 3 out of 10 happy face for most of us is a 9.5 for Mel here. Show us a smile, Mel. I was worried that was gonna happen. Also, can we go back to this?
People are just wanting change. Rich people want it, poor people want it.
I love Trump's little shout out to poor people. Like he knows he's at an elite fundraiser with millionaires and billionaires, so he throws a little sop to the rest of his supporters. Let's not forget the poors, especially the mouth breathers who come to my rallies. I wish they could be here, but unfortunately the dress code says flip-flops and American flag shorts are not allowed. Trump continued to drone on about the fundraiser.
The election's going to be in now a little more than 6 months, and it's going to be the most important, I believe, election we've ever had. I think it's going to go down as the most important date in the history of our country. That's November 5th, will be the most important date in the history of our country.
I think he's saying it's the most important date in our history because he doesn't know any other dates in our history. If you asked him what happened on the 4th of July, there's a good chance he'd say, that's when Tom Cruise was born. And just to give you an idea of how elite this fundraiser was, check out the food they served. The evening's menu included an endive and frisée salad, filet à poivre, and pavlova with fresh berries for dessert. That menu had so many foreign words, I'm surprised he didn't have it deported. There's also nothing on that menu Donald Trump would ever actually eat. Or maybe those are secretly his favorite meals, and his love of fast food is just a ruse for his supporters. After all, we've never seen him eat fast food. He just takes pictures with it like some kind of reverse Instagram influencer. Maybe that's a fake chicken top, and underneath is just a bucket full of vichyssoise. Vichyssoise would be his favorite soup. If you believe the Steele dossier, we know he loves leeks. And that was a 7-year-old P-Take callback. We felt like you guys deserve that because, you know, you missed the eclipse to be here. So we thought we'd put in a 7-year-old joke dependent on people knowing leeks are an ingredient in vichyssoise. And just as he did in 2016, Trump once again promised behind closed doors that his real priority was making sure his wealthy donors could keep more of their money.
The former president made a policy promise to his donors last night, tax cuts, but what else?
Yeah, tax cuts, among other things, Allie. It was a big night for the former president, off the campaign trail and into a big night of fundraising in Palm Beach, down the street from his Mar-a-Lago golf course. He did speak with some of the nation's wealthiest donors, around 100 of them, saying that he's going to extend these tax cuts.
Of course he did. When he's talking to his supporters at rallies, he's ranting about bull like voter fraud or windmills killing birds or woke libs turning Christmas gay. But when he's behind closed doors with his rich buddies, he knows what they really want to hear. What happened to, I don't want their money, I don't need their money? Trump's going to have to go back and edit some of those old clips to make them more accurate.
Everybody's offering me money. I want their money. I need their money.
This has been a closer look. The news, right? Can make you crazy. But what if there was something you could watch that only made me crazy? Well, there is. It's called Corrections, and it's every week where I respond to YouTube commenters and what they've said I got wrong about each week's show. Check it out wherever you get your YouTube videos. So YouTube, where you are right now. I can be here all day.